One quiet night, Amelia sat in her room reading her favorite book. Everything felt peaceful, calm, and still. But then, something strange began to happen. The pages started to glow. A soft golden light shimmered in her hands. Amelia leaned closer, her eyes filled with wonder. The light grew brighter and brighter. Tiny sparks began to rise into the air. She reached out slowly, carefully, but the magic drifted just beyond her fingers. It floated there, dancing in the air. Then suddenly, the light took shape. A glowing butterfly appeared before her, and without thinking, Amelia began to follow. In the next room, a strange glow caught her brother's eyes. 𝓽𝓱𝓮𝓶 got out of bed, trying to see what was happening. And Tame watched quietly as Amelia followed the light. They stood in silence, staring down the hallway. Amelia kept walking deeper into the darkness. The glowing butterfly led her on. Golden sparks filled the air, brighter than ever before. And then the hallway changed. A doorway of light opened in front of her. Without turning back, Amelia stepped through, and everything changed. A magical forest stretched out before her. She walked deeper inside, following the glowing butterfly. But soon, something felt different. Amelia slowed down and stood still. For a moment, she wasn't sure what to do. But the butterfly moved again, and Amelia chose to keep going. Ahead of her, the forest began to glow. Far in the distance, she saw something amazing. A shining castle stood beyond the trees. The path carried her closer towards the glowing light. Soon, she reached the edge of a quiet lake. Across the water, the castle shimmered like a dream. Chapter 2. The castle stood before them, brighter than ever, and this time the doors were open. Inside, everything glowed. The air felt alive. They walked further inside, and the castle seemed endless. Then suddenly, the castle began to respond. A light appeared ahead, calling them closer. And then they saw it, a guardian made of light. The guardian looked at Amelia as if it knew who she was. The light grew stronger, as if it was about to speak. The light reached out to them, not with words, but with something they could feel. Images began to form, stories made of light. She wasn't the first. Others had been chosen before. It wasn't by chance. It was her kindness, the way she cared. There were people out there, lost in the dark, waiting for the light. Amelia felt it, the weight of it all. She took a breath and made her choice. She would follow the light. Without hesitation, she stepped forward into the unknown. The light surrounded her, flowing through her. The light responded to her. It moved when she moved. The power grew stronger, brighter than before. But something wasn't right. The light was too strong. She couldn't control it. Then the light began to calm, guided by something greater. The guardian guided her hands, showing her how to control the light. This time, the light stayed calm and steady. She could control it. The guardian spoke. The light you carry is not just for here. It must be taken into the world. And so they stepped beyond the castle into a world waiting for the light. Chapter 3. The World Beyond. Beyond the castle, a new world opened before them. A forest full of light and quiet wonder. But as they walked, something began to change. The forest felt different. The deeper they went, the quieter it became, and somehow they could feel it. The trees grew taller, the light grew dim, and the forest held its breath. Then they saw it, a light far beyond the trees. But it wasn't alone. More lights appeared, soft, glowing, and watching. The lights, they weren't random. They were forming something. Amelia didn't step back. She stepped forward, and the light, well, it answered her. And just like that, the forest changed. The light brought it back to life, and with the light guiding them, they moved forward, stronger than ever before, ready for what comes next. But this time, the path split in two. One felt safe, the other called to the light. Then the staff began to glow, stronger than ever before. It wasn't random. It was leading her. But not everyone agreed. What if it's wrong? What if the light was leading them somewhere they shouldn't go? Amelia didn't wait. She stepped forward, trusting the light, even when the others weren't sure. The path changed. The forest grew older, and the light felt different. Then they saw it. Symbols glowing just like the staff. It was connected. But then something changed. The light, it began to weaken. Amelia tried to hold it together, to keep the light alive. But something wasn't right. Then they found it. hidden deep within the forest, a doorway filled with light. The doorway, it was calling to them. The light, pulling them closer. But what waited on the other side, they didn't know. And then they stepped through into the light, and everything changed. When the light faded, they were somewhere else, a place that felt different, colder. The staff, it wasn't the same. It flickered, fading with every second. Something wasn't right. The forest, it didn't feel still. It felt alive. Suddenly, we shouldn't be there here. Something isn't right. Something isn't right. Amelia stepped forward. Stay close. We'll get through this together. But these symbols, they were different, darker, stronger, and nothing like before. Then a path appeared, but it wasn't like before. The light felt colder. Then they heard it, a sound coming from the darkness, and it wasn't the forest. And then they saw it, a gate older than the forest itself, waiting for them. As they stepped closer, the gate began to glow, soft at first, then brighter, as if it knew they were there. The air around them changed. Light and leaves drifted forward. Something was pulling them, gently but strongly. Then the staff began to shine, brighter than before, like it was answering. The gate, the ground beneath them, shifted softly. The path behind wasn't the same anymore. There was only one way forward. One of them paused. Are we sure? Should we keep going? The light ahead felt important. Amelia turned back. We've come this far. Watch inside. Then something changed. The light from the staff and the gate were working together. Slowly, the gate began to open. Light poured through, brighter than anything they had ever seen. Inside the light, something moved. Not clear, but not empty. They weren't alone. Amelia took a step toward the light. Whatever was waiting, she was ready to find out. As they stepped through, everything changed. The darkness was gone, and something new was waiting for them. When the light faded, they saw it, a world full of light and life, like nothing they had ever seen. For a moment, they didn't move. They just looked at the world around them. It was quiet and beautiful. And then they saw it, a creature made of light, watching them. Slowly, Amelia reached out, and the creature, it trusted her. As the light touched the creature, something changed. The glow grew stronger, like they were connected. The creature turned and began to walk, as if it wanted them to follow. As they walked, the world around them seemed to glow, as if it knew they were there. In the distance, they saw something, a place shining with the light, waiting for them. The creature stopped and looked back, as if it was waiting for them to follow. Slowly, they stepped inside. The great doors behind them faded into the light. There was no turning back. Inside, the temple stretched far beyond them, filled with glowing light and towering pillars. It felt like it had been waiting. It had been waiting. The creature walked ahead, then stopped and turned back. It had guided them, but now this part was theirs. Then the staff began to glow, brighter than ever before, its light spreading across the temple floor. From the center, the ground began to move. A platform slowly rose, and at the top, a place was waiting. Amelia paused. She looked ahead. This moment felt different, like everything led to this. Slowly, she stepped forward and placed the staff into the light. Everything went still. Then, the temple came alive. Light filled every corner, brighter than ever before. It was working. In that moment, they understood. They hadn't found this place. This place had found them. The light surrounded them, warm and endless. And in that moment, everything made sense. And from that day on, they were never the same. The end.